All right. Put your hands up a little bit. Have a seat. Put your feet up. Don't do not think about getting up, right, buddy?
This is a 19-year-old named Nicholas Cruz who, 3 hours and 55 minutes before this moment, killed 17 people in his former high school in Parkland, Florida. 3 teachers and 14 students were killed in this incident, and 17 other students were severely injured. The armed man threw his weapon 7 minutes after the attack and fled into the crowd. He was free for 1 hour and 20 minutes, spending some time at the metro station and then sitting in a restaurant. He casually talked to the brother of one of the victims, unaware that his older sister had just been killed by the person he was sitting next to, engaging in conversation. As soon as the suspect's information was broadcasted through the radio, the police searched the street 2 miles away from the school, identified Nicholas, and arrested him. He was immediately taken to the nearest hospital, where it was determined that he hadn't consumed any drugs. He was then transferred to the local police station for interrogation. From the moment Nicholas entered the room, he didn't look at anything except the floor, indicating that he was either in shock or disconnected from time and space. Just as the door closes, he quickly raises his head to take a look at his surroundings. His behavior changes as soon as he realizes that no one is looking at him. If you observe his state 1 minute before, you can see this strange contrast between his unconsciousness and sudden heightened awareness, indicating that his mind is fully alert and aware of what is happening to him. As soon as he raises his head, his eyes quickly lock onto the surveillance camera installed in front of him. Now he knows that he is still being watched, so he begins to make movements that may appear suicidal. On the surface, thoughts of suicide may seem very real, but with the movements he makes later, it becomes clear what the situation is.
All right. How you doing, Nick? You all right? Gotta be able to speak so I can hear you. All right. I just need to ask you really your name and date of birth just to confirm I got it right, and then I'm gonna see if you want a glass of water or something. What's your first name?
At this moment, the evidence is strongly against the suspect, and it is somewhat evident that he is the perpetrator in this case, responsible for the crime that occurred. Therefore, there is no need for a confession. The police know that Nicholas committed this mass murder, but they don't know why he did it. That's why a specific strategy is employed to determine the motive behind the killings, but the suspect's statements at the time of arrest complicate the interrogation process.
What's going on today, bro?
The demons, man.
Demons?
Voices.
Yeah, no problem.
Voices.
Voices and demons?
Where's the voices? What happened?
Shut up. Just be quiet, man. Shut up.
Demons, man. Voices.
These 2 initial words he mentioned indicate what was on his mind. Therefore, the questions are designed in a way to keep him focused on a specific narrative regarding mental illness. This makes Nicholas feel like his answers are in his favor. We know that after this interrogation, he will have more time to think about the judicial system and mental illness and seek consultation. Everything he can add to his case afterward depends heavily on this moment. The more details he reveals, the fewer options he will have for defense and subsequent corrections. However, pursuing this goal is truly complicated because 2 scenarios usually occur in interrogations during these times. The first scenario, which is the usual response, is that the suspect remains completely silent and doesn't say anything or enters a state known as catatonic. In such cases, the interrogation usually doesn't lead anywhere. The other model is completely the opposite, where they experience hysteria and delusions, and everything spirals out of control from that moment onwards. Detective John Corso should not allow either of these two scenarios to happen, and he strongly senses these first 2 minutes. He must maintain a positive demeanor and be ready to listen, while preserving his own authority. His role in this moment is essentially that of a teammate. He should command respect, but not instill fear. By juxtaposing the initial behavior of the suspect, Detective John Corso knows that there is a high probability that Nicholas will revert to a state of silence in the initial phase. If he can prevent this from happening within the first 2 minutes, he will have overcome a significant hurdle.
What's your first name? Come on, Nick. Huh?
Nicholas.
Spell it for me.
Okay.
Come on, I'm old. You gotta talk so I can hear you. N-I-K. O.
Oh.
Okay. What's your date of birth? Okay, you need to relax, because I'm the last detective or policeman you're going to have to talk to. So right off the bat, that should be somewhat comforting to you to know that I'm the last guy you got to talk to. What's your date of birth?
09.
January?
09.
09 September.
The investigative team already knows the answers to all these initial questions. They actually want to engage Nicholas in a two-way conversation with questions and answers that do not indicate any threat. As we can see, the suspect is in a catatonic state, but still responding to the questions. It is highly unlikely that he will revert to complete silence from this point onwards. Everything has gone according to plan so far. Now, the detective wants to leave the room to gain the suspect's trust and enhance their relationship, offering him water or food as a means to do so.
All right, let me do this. You want cold water? You know if you want cold water? You sure you don't want something to eat? Okay.
Rejecting the offer of water and food is a routine response and usually happens. It is, in fact, a clear sign of shame. This state should not be mistaken for feelings of guilt or remorse, as guilt and remorse occur when a person accepts responsibility for their actions internally, whereas shame is directed inwardly based on external perceptions, such as how others view the individual. In these circumstances, the suspect wants to demonstrate that he is so ashamed that even his basic needs no longer matter to him.
Of course, I have so many different keys. All right, I'll be right back.
Once the detective leaves the room, Nicholas's behavior changes. He puts his hands over his face, indicating the distressing situation he finds himself in. It is easy to speculate what is going through his mind. However, what we are about to witness is a completely different occurrence. Nicholas Cruz is left-handed, as confirmed by the surveillance cameras in the school. If we observe his hand movements in this scene more closely, we can see that he initially tries to reach for his weapon with his left hand, as is his habit. But then, suddenly he stops and changes his behavior before looking back at the camera, returning to the suicide scenario. Everything happens in less than 4 seconds. It can be assumed that for a brief moment, not only did he recall the attack, but he also felt a sense of satisfaction from it. Then he remembered that he was in front of the camera, so he composed himself. His true self was enjoying what he had done, while his depressed facade was so overwhelmed by thoughts of suicide. His next action is self-harm. He starts to suffocate himself and then punctures the spot where he had been previously drawn blood at the hospital. When the detective enters the room, this sudden self-harming episode stops.
All right. So if they're not bleeding anymore, you want them off, we can pull them off. I'll get you the garbage can. You want them off? Just put them on the... Throw them on the floor in the corner. All right, this one is mine. Because I already opened it. This one's yours in case you change your mind. What about your phone? Do you have a phone?
I lost it.
When did you lose it? Today? Okay. What kind of phone is it?
I don't know.
Okay, is it a flip top, an iPhone, a Samsung?
Phone.
It's a phone. What's the number?
I can't remember.
Okay.
Now he begins simulating a nervous breakdown. The detective must immediately intervene and prevent the subject from getting a response from this new behavior, but still maintain a positive connection with the suspect.
Remember, dude, I can't.
Okay, Nick, calm down.
Okay.
You've already been medically cleared. I know what's going to be talked about is difficult, but again, you don't remember your phone number. How long you had the phone? How long have you had the phone? Nick, the doctor's already looked at you.
Okay.
Okay, you're fine. You're not having any problems at the moment, and you're perfectly fine. So calm your breathing down, all right? And I want to believe certain things that you're going to tell me. Okay. All right.
All right.
So what's your phone number? Huh?
954.
Okay, 954 821
2007.
2007.
No. 1007.
1007. And again, going back to what kind it is. Do you know if it's an iPhone, a
I
Samsung?
don't know.
How long have you had it? Every kid knows what the phone is, man. I got kids your age.
Ever since my mother died.
I know, I heard about that. That's what I was going to talk about next.
This is a turning point in the story. Cruz's mother actually passed away from natural causes a year ago. In this moment, he feels compassion towards himself. The hysterical state suddenly disappears when he realizes the care and attention directed towards him from the outside, and he calms down and returns to a normal state. The detective understands this and, despite saying he will talk about it later, starts discussing the circumstances of his mother's death.
All right. So, but you had, since your mom died, how long has your mom passed?
I can't remember, I think.
Okay. This year or last year?
November.
November? Okay. Okay. When your mom passed, were you living with her?
Yes.
Okay. What city was that? Parkland?
As you know, the suspect claims to hear the voices of demonic spirits. From this point on, the detective tries to obtain a detailed account of this perceptual disorder. He does this by asking a series of different questions and continuously following up on those questions. In essence, he traps the suspect within his own statements. On the other hand, Nicholas believes this is a form of clinical assessment for his well-being and comfort. This misconception becomes evident over time. The detective now moves on to the main questions, and Nicholas, who until half an hour ago barely uttered a word, now responds so rapidly that he occasionally interrupts the detective mid-sentence.
Bad side. There's people.
No, it's a voice. The voice is in here. And it's me. Just regular me. Just trying to be a good person.
Okay.
Now let's set aside these conflicting behaviors and focus on the storyline. In the scenario where Nicholas wants us to believe that, in his own words, he has always tried to be a good person, there has been an eternal struggle between good and evil within him. Until the moment of his arrest, he couldn't seek help for this struggle. But now that he has been apprehended, he suddenly gains the ability to control the demonic voice inside him. However, the recovered video from his phone tells a different story.
Hello. My name is Nick, and I'm going to be the next school shooter of 2018. My goal is at least 20 people with an AR-15 and a couple tracer rounds. I think I can get done. Location is Stoneman Douglas in Parkland, Florida. It's going to be a big event. And when you see me on the news, you'll all know who I am.
There are no signs of perceptual disorder. When he talks about his program and his objective, there is no doubt or hesitation in his face.
It's me and then my bad side.
I understand. Everybody's got a quote good and bad side. There's people.
No, it's a voice. The voice is in here. And it's me. Just trying to be a good person.
Okay. But obviously, again, when you say it's a voice, it's you. It's all you.
What do you
The
mean?
voice is you as well.
Yeah.
The voice didn't force you to do anything, right?
No, the voice did. It's two voices.
Uh-huh.
There's one half that's the good and then the bad.
Yeah.
The suspect's actions rapidly shift from catatonia to madness and then delusion. He becomes extremely cautious and vigilant.
Did the voice didn't tell you to take Uber, right?
Yes, it did.
It did?
Yes.
The voice said take Uber. Did the voice?
The voice is in me.
You're the voice.
No, in here.
Okay, it's in your head.
Yes.
What is it? A male voice or a female voice?
Male.
Male.
As soon as Nicholas's behavior changes, the detective becomes aware of his terror and shifts the discussion towards insignificant matters, preferring to consult with external experts to increase pressure on Nicholas. Before leaving the room, he reestablishes a certain level of trust.
I'm gonna go back and see what everybody's doing as far as what they need me to do.
Think you can give me a psychologist here?
I can certainly ask.
Okay.
2 minutes later, the subject scratches his hand and enters a delusional state, seeming to see things in the room.
All right, got some stuff here.
The detective once again pretends not to have witnessed Nicholas's strange movements. Then he immediately asks him a question, and the controversy begins exactly from this point.
Did the voice tell you to buy that AR-15?
Yes.
Did it tell you, hey, buy that gun, it looks cool? What do you think if you didn't buy it, if you said, hey, I ain't buying this gun, it's too expensive, what do you think the voice would have done to you? Did you stop talking to you?
No, tell me to hurt myself.
How would you hurt yourself?
Cut.
You're a cutter?
I'm a cutter.
All right. When you cut yourself, it's because the voice just told you to cut yourself. And if you didn't talk or you didn't listen to the voice, then you were going to be alone because your voice was your only friend. That's kind of what you're saying. Since me and you have been talking, have you heard the voices? What's it said?
Saying to cut yourself.
For you to cut yourself. Does the voice like me?
Huh?
Does the voice like me?
He doesn't trust you.
Why doesn't he trust me? I'm pretty relaxed, ain't I?
I'm trying to figure that out too.
Well, what doesn't he like about me? I treated you fairly. I've given you water. I talked nice to you. You know.
You're too nice.
I'm too nice. Yeah. I don't really believe there is a voice, to be honest with you.
There is a voice.
No, I don't think there is.
I'm telling you the truth. There's
No. I mean, I feel you probably want to kill yourself because of what happened, but...
No, the voice is telling me to kill myself.
Okay, but the voice is telling you that the AR-15s is... You like guns, man. You wanted to be a ranger. You like guns. You didn't buy guns because the voice said, hey, today I like Mossbergs, tomorrow I like AR-15s. You like guns.
Can you call the psychologist?
I've already got the questions from some of the psychologists. Some of the questions I asked you were from... Yeah.
I see.
That's the ones I asked you. You already...
No.
These questions were actually written by the investigative team, and there is no mention of a psychologist. When he realizes that the questions are not driven by genuine concern, his behavior changes again. He thought a therapist was asking him about his emotions. And now that he has committed a mass murder, in a way, it reassures him that he is being taken care of.
Voices. Are they inside or outside of your head? What do the voices say? These are all questions I asked you. How many voices? You said one. Whose voice do you think it was? You didn't know.
What the f is wrong with me?
All right. Well, you want me? I'll leave you to think for a while, and I'll come back and talk to you. I personally, I think you're using the demon as an excuse.
I'm not. I promise.
You could have stopped the demon anytime you want. You didn't want to stop the demon.
At this point, the subject confronts reality and realizes that he is not meant to be treated as a victim. This can be understood from the fear that has taken hold of him. After this realization, he decides to escape from reality by feigning a state of mental breakdown. The detective understands this, but instead of providing relief, he continues the interrogation with even more pressure, and a fresh wave of fear engulfs Nicholas. This is the moment of retribution where the detective confronts the suspect with the continuation of his life story.
No, that's not true.
You didn't. You could have. I've given you 4 ways you could have stopped the demon, man. Okay, now you're just acting like that because.
No.
Okay, well, relax. You're just acting like that because I'm making sense. Calm down. I'm making sense, and you don't like when it makes sense.
No.
Because it doesn't fit into the story you're telling right now.
I'm telling you the story. It's true. It's
Well, why are you looking at your arm now?
I'm trying to understand why.
Well, why didn't you want to stop the demon?
I don't know.
Because I think you like the demon.
No, I don't.
Okay, why didn't you stop it then?
I don't like the demon. I don't like the demon. I don't like the demon. I don't like the demon.
Well, that's if the demon even exists.
Can I get an attorney or something?
You want what? An attorney?
Yeah.
Did the demon or the voices tell you to get an attorney? Okay. All right. Will you tell the voice that don't hit yourself in the head because the attorney the demon just requested? I will stop talking to you.
I'm scared.
You're scared of what?
I'm scared of why didn't he protect me?
What?
Why wouldn't he protect me, man?
I don't know.
Why wouldn't he protect me?
And once again, I grabbed the wrong key. Alright, do me a favor. Stay seated. Put your hands, kind of sit forward in your chair. I'm going to put handcuffs behind you. Since you keep talking about hurting yourself. Hold on. Put your hand behind your back. No, not behind the chair. Behind your back. I don't want to make it that uncomfortable.
Oh, why don't you want me to hurt myself?
Because what did the demon say about me? I'm a nice guy.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Nicholas Cruz is transferred to prison and later sentenced to life imprisonment by the court, spending the rest of his life in solitude and penance.
The 20-year-old has been held without bond since last year's mass shooting that left 17 people dead. His attorney said he would plead guilty in exchange for a life sentence, but prosecutors rejected that offer and are seeking the death penalty.